said, the biggest thing that we need to focus on right now is love. It's not division, because we've been divided for God knows how long. Like, everybody just needs to take the stick out their ass and just get in a kumbaya circle and just for real, just calm down. So yeah, those are my closing remarks. Everybody just do you. Just do you.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say. Just live your life.
Yeah.
Worry about
I'm with you, man. Yeah, hold your family close. And like when you meet people in the street, when you see people outside that you don't know them, meet them with a smile, meet them with compassion, because there's some shit that's coming that is not going to have a whole lot of compassion in it. And it's going to be the people who are willing to drop the arguments and drop the fighting just long enough to let people see our humanity, so that we can stem some of this potential for like bloodshed and like chaos and ruin that they think is anarchy. And like we need to show them, like especially the three of us, like that we need to show them that this is not what anarchy is. This is what the state does to people. This is what the state pushes people to do to each other, because there's so much pressure that the pressure relieves itself in some weird ways and some destructive ways. And it's our job and our responsibility to be above that, to be better than that, and to greet people with love and with compassion and with generosity, and to try to de-escalate that stuff, so that it can become a point where we realize, like, look, hey, I'm with you. Like, there's some fucked up shit going on. Let's work together to try to make it have less of an impact on us. I'm with you in trying to lessen that. And I don't care what potential differences we might have on any variety of different issues. The one issue that I want to connect with you on is our humanity.
Before we got banned, I created a profile of my for my comic book show, right? And I followed myself, right? And you know, after you follow somebody, it tells you who to recommend. Right. The people who were recommended that I follow after I followed myself was so horrible. I was embarrassed, and I wanted to actually like go back.
What the fuck is wrong with me?
Man, no, because it was like, I'm gonna tell you, I don't even care, man. It was like, you should follow, like, you already know you're gonna get on me, Chad, but it was like you should follow Anthony Brian Logan, Brandon Tatum, and the third person was the Rob Smith.
Rob Smith, oh shit!
Those were the three people that recommended me that I should follow after I followed myself.
That's
and
awesome.
I was like, what in the world in the algorithm is going on? That
I'm clipping this shit and I'm sending it to Uncle Hotep.
I know you're going to clip it, but it was ABL, Brandon Tatum, and Rob Smith. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me right now.
That's
like, you don't, I mean, it was nobody even in the middle. No, I mean, I would have been fine if it would have been like Sonny Johnson, Hotep Jesus. I would have been fine with
it shows you, though, how, like, stupid and superficial so much of this stuff is, right? That they're just like, hey, you're black and you follow like a black, I don't know, political, but not quite like, you know, Roland Martin or anything like that, you know? Mm-hmm. So we're just going to give you the top 3 black YouTube personalities that are on that side of center.
But that's the thing.
It doesn't even have anything to do with
I don't even really follow people like that. I don't follow any of those people I just named.
No, but the people who watch your show, dude.
I do follow ABL. I do take that back. I do follow ABL. And if you look hard enough, wait, hold on. That's just funny because we're in the after show. But if you do look, it ain't even hard to find. But I actually did a show with ABL too. So
you gonna say that, but won't cuss on the after hour show?
Yep, that's right. That's right. I am. Yep, no cursing. I already cursed because I said bitch. Remember when I was talking about the girl I didn't want to follow? So I did.
As this show has progressed, the biggest support that we have gotten has been from the Hotep Nation. Whether we're talking about Hotep Jesus, or we're talking about Uncle Hotep, or we're talking about any of the other wonderful people that I have come into contact with because of the association that we have had with Hotep Nation. So I want to give them a shout out. I want everyone who listens to us, if you're a voluntarist, if you're an anarchist and have not checked out the Hoteps, I strongly suggest you do. Yes, you're going to disagree with them occasionally, but we disagree amongst ourselves occasionally. How is that any goddamn different? Right. And these people.
And if you haven't noticed, there's a whole bunch of people who disagree with us a lot more than we disagree with each other.
Right.
And that's what we're up against.
Right.
If last night was not an indication, I don't know what is.
For sure. So
it's okay to be disagreed with. You know, we gotta you gotta take in consideration when you disagree with somebody, you get both sides of the opinion, and that's something people need to start like really taking consideration. Like, because we disagree, and like people disagree in politics, but they're threatening to unfriend them and other things along the lines of that. And I just like rubbed my forehead very concerningly, because if that's the way we're going, then sticks and stones are about to start breaking people bones left and right.
For sure. But to finish what I was saying, I agree with both of you. What we have become, what Aquarian Anarchy has become, is the anarch wing of Hotep Nation. I hope that those of you who have found Hotep Nation and come here and then find Hotep Nation, you realize we are allies in the fight. And I just want to cement, because these guys are already Hoteps, I want to cement that I'm there with you. I don't know if I'm a Hotep. I don't know if I'm Hotep adjacent. I really don't care, because those people have supported us. They are wonderful people, and they are fighting for freedom. And we have, above anything else, if you learned anything in this last election cycle, it is we need to start organizing and coming together. So there's my plug for the Hotep Nation. And again, if you haven't checked them out, go check them out.
I didn't object, and I said, okay, I'm just going to sit here and see what happens.
Right.
And so they the next thing they do is they bring out a clipboard, and they start passing the clipboard around. Everybody here needs to sign this. And I don't remember who said this, but there is never anything that you have to sign.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have to sign it, you wouldn't need to sign it.
Right. Exactly.
So
they need your permission to do whatever's next.
And I read it, and it's an authorization form to surrender my right to an actual trial in order to have the fake judge hear my case.
Ooh.
So I don't sign it. I just pass it along. I go up, I argue my case, and I say, I didn't make a U-turn. I was charged with making a U-turn. I made a 3-point turn, which means I pulled into a driveway and then backed up and went the other way.
Yeah.
And they were like, guilty. And I was like, okay, whatever. Then I pulled the Fair Debt Collections and Practices Act on them. And like when they sent me a note, let me say this is another thing the state does. They try to make you pay up front. So when I said I want to plead not guilty at the clerk's window, they said, okay, you have to pay the ticket and then you have to go to court. And then if you win, you'll get your money back. And I was like, I don't fucking trust you. So I was like, I don't have any money. And they were like, okay. Well, at first I was like, I don't want to pay. And then they were like, you have to pay. And I was like, well, I don't have any money. And they were like, oh, okay, well then we'll schedule a hearing with the judge so you can get released on OR on your own recognizance that you're going to come back. Total bullshit. But anyway, so I did that. So they didn't have my money and I lost, and they sent me like a bunch of letters saying, hey, we want this money. And I said, I don't have a contract with you because I never signed that thing. Mm-hmm. And I said, if you want this money, you need to prove that I owe you this money. I need a judgment from a duly elected judge or a contract or something else proving. And you know what they sent me? They sent me a ticket from somebody else. Like they said, like this is how, like, yeah, they sent me a ticket from somebody else, and I sent them back another letter saying, this just proves how incompetent you are, and you have no idea what you're doing. I got to find this letter. I have it saved.
Criticize the right at all for a while. I was just like, it was kind of like you have a fish tank, right? And you're like, what happens if I throw this type of food in the fish tank? And you watch them, and it's like, okay, that's how they react. All right, what about this? And it was like, ooh, that's an interesting reaction. It was like, well, do you like brine shrimp? And it's like, ooh, they really like that bait, you know? So I was trying to understand what made these people tick. Then I was like, all right, now I understand what makes them tick. What makes them get pissed off? So I was like, let's try this. I like Obama. I'm like, oh, there we go. Boom, right? So I was like, it's like, wait, I think reparations would get him. I like reparations. Boom, explosion. I'm like, okay, all right. You guys don't like black shit. All right, so you're not allowed to be black and conservative. This whole black conservative thing is a whole nother story. So I'm like learning. And I'm like, okay, Kwanzaa's coming around. Let's try Kwanzaa. Now, I don't even celebrate Kwanzaa. I specifically celebrate Kwanzaa on Twitter to piss people off. I'll be honest with you. There's no fucking candles in my house during Kwanzaa. We celebrate Christmas in my house. So I go online, first day of Kwanzaa. I say, yo, happy Kwanzaa. Boom, explodes. I'm like, yo, how would you let my holiday bother you?
Right.
So it's like understanding like the snowflakeism from the left and the snowflakeism of the right. And then it's like, okay, now how do we coalesce this into something that can be positive? And that's like the evolution of Hotep Jesus and like now using all these things in a more effective manner by understanding. Cool. So then after that, I'm like, okay, so then we understand reparations as a trigger word. How do I make Republicans like reparations? This seems like Mission Impossible. So I think, and I'm like, Dems must pay. Because all they did was said, yo, Democrats messed up the black community. So with that line of thought, they owe us reparations, right? Right. Good.
It shows you how like one-dimensional thinkers they are, that nobody came up with anything even close to that, not even in the same universe